Tonight, a 3-game series begins at Citi Field with the Mets and the Dodgers. LA obviously being one of the best teams, if not the best team in all of baseball. Nearly 50 games over 500. They're an absolute powerhouse. All-stars, MVP candidates all around, Cy Young candidates all around. Last time the Mets faced them this year back in LA, they split 4. This time we're looking to win the series, which will lead to a lot more easier schedule towards the end of the year. But the question is, how can they do that? And that's why we're here today for 5 keys to beating the Dodgers.
On 3-2, Vader swings and misses, strike 3. He struck him out. 5 Met pitchers combined for the second no-hitter in New York Mets history.
They do not have many weaknesses, but they have a few, and that's what they have to try and exploit to win this series. And that's where it all comes down to, because they actually do match up pretty well with them.
A top tier team in the league, obviously 50 games over 500. They are building a real life Diamond Dynasty team. Obviously they're pitching. We're getting a little bit of break that Tony Gonsolin will not start. Again, this is kind of a statement, kind of settlement series where the Mets are going to be. This is potentially an NLCS preview. This is what, down the line, this is what everybody said all year, that this is going to be the National League Championship Series. Mets Dodgers. What wins? All-star hitters or all-star pitchers? We'll hopefully figure that out in October, but this could be a great preview to about a month and a half from now. Could be a preview of what's to come.
I mean, this is the big state. It's September baseball. You got to play well in order to get to the postseason and put yourself in good positioning to win it all. And that's what we have to look at here. And here are your 5 keys. First key to the Mets beating the Dodgers is obviously to contain the big 3. Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts have been a force to be reckoned with all season. Now, how do you take out a supervillain? You go for the heart. It may not be easy, but here's how you can do it. And we all know Freeman has this trademark golf swing that helps him lift the ball with ridiculous bat speed. This swing may make him an incredible low ball hitter, but sometimes it can lead him to get beat everywhere else. Now, how do you take out Freeman? You pitch high and tight, put him in that situation where he can't connect the barrel to the ball.
A guy, which again, MVP type candidate. Obviously, I don't think he's the favorite. I think the guy in St. Louis, the first baseman, has that on lock. But Jacob deGrom has had him in his back pocket for his career. He always has struggled. He hates seeing that guy in his nightmares. I believe he has only 2 career hits off Jacob deGrom and over 40 ABs. He does not like seeing Jacob deGrom. Again, he's one of these launch angle revolutionaries where he just wants to get everything in the air. You elevate a fastball, maybe you can try to, move a 2-seamer, sinker, but elevate the ball against Freeman as that hole at the top of the zone. He has that ability just to hit the ball the opposite field. So you could say, hey, you try to throw it up and away, he'll take it to left field. He's one of those guys who will hit the all fields with ease. Is a notorious longtime Mets killer. It doesn't matter what jersey he is in.
And then you get to Trey Turner, who's also known to beat his opponent in multiple aspects of the game all at once. He's known for being quick. So the answer is simple. Slow him down. Turner has never been that big of a selective hitter. He loves to swing and put the ball in play, fairly similar to our own Starling Marte. The key here is not to pitch around the strike zone, but make him beat himself before he beats you. He may be a top premier player in all of baseball, but he's also the owner of some of the ugliest swings that you have ever seen in baseball history.
He can drop a bunt down, he'll beat it out. He can drive a homer if he needs it. He can hit a ball in the gap. And like I said, he isn't very selective at the plate. He does like to go up there and swing. He doesn't like to draw a lot of walks, but he'll take his occasional walk. Jacob deGrom has had him in his back pocket. He's the other guy. Trey hates facing Jacob deGrom. It's like his nightmare because he has that wipeout slider, and he will chase that outside slider. So again, pitch around the strike zone, but also try to get him to expand the zone because he will swing. He is one of the best players in the game for a reason. He can beat you in different ways, and you don't want to see him in a big spot with guys on base because there's a chance you can get out of it. But knowing Trey Turner, he'll get that little cheesy bullish little chopper, and he can beat it, and he can beat you that way. Or also, if you leave a ball over in the middle of the plate, he can hit it 440.
And then finally, you probably have the best athlete out of all of them, the best athlete in the game, Mookie Betts. We all know he loves to wait for his pitch and always takes advantage of terrible command off the mound. He does have an incredible knowledge of the strike zone, so crossing him up is the best way to get him. Make Betts more selective than he is and freeze him. Use his low swing rate to get ahead in the count early. He also cannot seem to hit a splitter. So Taijuan Walker, you have zero excuses with Mookie Betts.
Patient hitter is just looking for mistakes, and And when he gets them, he never usually doesn't miss them. The Mets kind of kept him at bay in LA. If you could get ahead of him, try to give him a chase. But again, he's not a guy that likes to swing out of the zone. But again, Jacob deGrom, having him can do that, get him to chase on that slider. Mookie's a guy you just got to get ahead of early and then see if you can get him to eventually chase out of the zone while you're ahead. He'll take his walks, and if you give it to him, this is the guy you don't want to make that mistake because, like you said, he will beat you and he's looking for mistakes. And if he maybe that's what I think Jacob deGrom is the X factor in their series to an extent to take that game one to neutralize these big three.
Then we get to key number 2, and that is utilizing the breaking ball. The Dodgers this season have the 4th worst run value along with the 3rd highest ground ball rate against the breaking ball. And the main breaking pitch that they usually have a problem with is the slider. Dodgers have the 6th highest whiff rate against the slider this year and also the 2nd highest put away rate. And overall with the breaking ball, you look at our 3 starters in this series, Taijuan Walker, Chris Bassett, and Jacob deGrom. Each one of their best pitches is a breaking ball. Abuse it.
Guys are struggling against the breaking ball, and you could see a couple of reasons why. Obviously, look at Cody Bellinger, Joey Gallo playing. Either one of both of them playing every day. Like we said with Trey Turner, he's going up there hacking. So is Max Muncy, who is having a better second half, but isn't having a great season. But he's been swinging a little more than his career rate. Obviously, Will Smith, guy that likes to chase out of the zone, will chase the slider. Whenever Jacob deGrom is on the mound, that is where the Mets are going to have the major advantage. It's almost like if we get a lead in the 9th inning, our closer has a pretty good slider as well. And Adam Ottavino. But you could definitely abuse them with the slider. Spam it. Again, and you can break off the fastball, especially with Jake. Pretty scary that there is a big flaw for a pretty great team that no one else seems to pick up.
Now we get to the hitting aspect of it, and that brings us to number 3, which is creating traffic. The Mets are 3rd in the MLB in team on base percentage this year, and that will come in handy late in games. Now, the Dodgers pitching staff is overall the 3rd worst team in the MLB in high leverage. They have only left 19.4% of base runners stranded, and opponents are slashing 323, 376, 489 with runners in scoring position in high leverage. Talked about the wide selection of table setters in the Mets lineup who are able to get on base at will, and that's where Mark Canha, Brandon Nimmo, and Starling Marte make their money.
Michael Groove, I believe, starts for them. So obviously, a young pitcher, not going to be great. You know, getting guys on base, getting guys in scoring position can fluster a young pitcher and especially take advantage.
The key here is basically just make them pitch from the stretch as much as they can because they really have not been able to do that effectively this year. And that's when we get to number 4, which is another hitting key, which is extending every battle. Now, the Mets' approach at the plate is pretty much simple. It's grinding ABs, putting the ball in play. The opportunity to battle at the plate will be up for grabs as the Dodgers have the highest zone rate in all of baseball. This LA staff, especially the starting rotation, they love to challenge hitters with high profile stuff. Making as much contact as you possibly can is so crucial in this series, and that is something that the Mets have done all year. Pretty much the short way of saying this is be the 2022 New York Mets.
Battle these guys out, grind them out, get into their bullpens, the weak spot of their team, pitching-wise. Brandon Nimmo, Starling Marte, even though Lindor has been struggling a little bit, he's still at least giving you decent ABs. Pete Alonso is the biggest thing he needs to get right because if he doesn't start getting right, I'm a little concerned because he's struggling lately. But if they get going, then I'll feel confident. You know, Brett seems to be breaking out a little bit, and then obviously you're not going to get your catch position.
And that brings us to our final key to beating the Dodgers, which is beating the shift. Although the shift may be going away next season, the Dodgers' use of it is now the 2nd highest rate in all of baseball. To put it simple, hit it where they ain't. Surveying the defense is extremely important against this Dodgers team. And this is why Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, even Starling Marte will be the biggest factors in this lineup throughout all 3 of these games. You have to play through your best spray hitters to create as many opportunities as possible offensively.
And obviously the Dodgers, one of the most analytically driven teams, they're going to shift a ton. And you got to beat that. Guys like McNeil who are willing to go the other way. Arcana, kind of 50-50. Sometimes he's good at going the other way, sometimes he's not. Brett Beatty, it would be nice to see him start to use the other way, starting to go the other way a little more as last couple of ABs. You like seeing that. But again, you got to beat the shift when you're given an opportunity, especially against the Dodgers. You can start a rally by just dropping a bunt down, drop the bunt down. In this series, it's team first more than you first. You know, this is a team first mentality, and it's what this team has been built off of. And especially in this kind of series, we are facing an elite opponent. When you're given an opportunity to get on base, take the AB, take the base runner, take first base, and let the next guy get you over, get you in play. That mentality, when given an opportunity, won't take it, but they have been better this year.
This is actually a very similar mentality to what we had in the Braves video where you can't outslug them, but you can outsmart them. And that's what we're looking for when you beat the shift. We're looking for smart offensive production. That's what we're looking for, because that's the way that you can beat a top tier team like this. All I can say is if we can't beat this team, it's going to be brutal. And the season is probably going to end for maybe the 50th time this year, and we don't really want that to happen.
If you go on Mets Twitter, the season's over about 74 times. And, guess what? It's just how Twitter is and how the Mets fans are going to be. The world's ending. The Dodgers are win or lose. You're still in a playoff spot. Obviously, you want to be in the playoffs, in the division winner. But we have a cupcake schedule. Go get a cupcake, enjoy it, and go whoop somebody's.
Of course, we end this off thinking about cupcakes, because what else would be the other way that we'd end a video with you?
Cupcakes are good, man. Come on.